Greetings, community, and welcome to Entropy in Comics and another edition of this week's Signed Books. This week was a little bit different. I ended up going to San Diego Comic-Con only for one day. However, that one day was blessed to not only myself, but to my son. He and I got to enjoy the day together. His first time, my second time going to San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, we ran around a lot. I drugged my son around everywhere, and he didn't complain, not one bit, Before I get into quite so deep into the story and what's that I got all my books signed, I want to go ahead and take a moment and say to all of those of you that cruise on through on the rewind, I appreciate you so greatly. Without you, it'd only be half as much fun, just only saying. So, hey, let me again start into, we got there, and I parked really far away. He and I did a little trek. He got to see where I park. He got to kind of understand how I end up figuring out my bearings, when I'm parking my car somewhere so I don't accidentally forget where it's at. Um, and all those little tidbits that not only a father wants to do with the son and teach him, but everything I led up to was memorable. Everything at the show was memorable, and everything leaving from it was memorable. Now, I know that sounds a little redundant and a little cliche, but the reality is it's so true. It was so cool to finally have a moment to spend with Kai at a Comic-Con that it was new to him, and it was still somewhat new to me. So we got to discover aspects together and just kind of bond in the, I guess, sensory overload that is the San Diego Comic-Con. If I may take time and take a moment to say hi to those that cruise on in on the live. Hey, Perry, I hope you're doing well, and I appreciate you cruising on in and hanging out with me for a moment. So as I was stating that I ended up getting a book signed with Kai, I ended up spending time with Kai. One of the cool things is to put a spin on some of the aspects of which we wanted to do. One of the first goals was for me to get some books signed by Tradd Moore. So that was completely on the other side, in which our entrance was from the facilities. That put us, I don't know, maybe 5-10 minutes away from where we needed to be, and we had plenty of time to get there. Now that we got there at the location in which that was advertised where Tradd Moore would be, kindly enough, and with the information by this gentleman who knew that we were lost, asked if we were looking for Tradd Moore. As we stated, yes. He stated that there was a little mix-up, and he's completely back on the other side of the venue where we entered. To, like I said, spin that and make sure that, it wasn't all in just vain and we're just running back and forth or just trying to get the laps in. I had then noticed David Papos, which was cool because it then allowed me to go ahead and seize a moment. Kai and I ended up starting 1-2 Comic Talk about 6 years ago, a little over. And one of the first people that we knew that we hung out with because of the location in which where he's located, he was part of the Sketchy Bug group. He hung out at my LCS, the Comic Bug, and my son got to know him. I got to know him well before him. Was that he is publishing all the well-known storylines that are being released by him today. So it was cool to see him at that location, not but a few feet from me, and knowing that Speed Racer was about to launch, I want to run over there and say hi. Excuse me. In doing so, Kai went with me, and then I said, hey, look, Dave, check it out, Kai. When he first met Kai, Kai was 14 years old. Now that Kai is 20, he got, like many of us, got to see Kai grow up on YouTube and in front of his eyes. So the cool thing is he got to not only spend time with Kai, we got to rehash some memories, but, and to make a purchase of book, and, just it all worked out for the better. We left from there. We ended up going see Tradd. He ended up signing books. Luckily, we were able to make it not only there in time to get in line, but also to be in a position into which so we got the 9 books in which that I wanted. I think it was 9 signed, along with Kai, obviously, and take some pictures and allow us to go ahead and be at other locations at that time. So what I'm getting at is Trad Moore, Dan Slott, which we did not plan to see at the time which that we saw him. Guys, I just realized I in the description put all the names. Erica Schultz. Phillips, Stephanie Phillips. Who else? Oh my God, Rich Duick. I mean, the cool thing is I ended up seeing so many people, and I did bring books to individuals that I don't normally see. Not. I end up, luckily, fortunately, having a lot of people around me. I've never met Erica before. I've never met Stephanie before. I never met Michael Cho before that I recall. So definitely on the agenda was individuals that I not only wanted to meet for the first time, but I wanted to go ahead and tell them how much I enjoy their works and try to bring a little bit of a variety of the works, and I not only patron of them, but tell them how much I enjoy those works that they're doing and try to find out a little bit more. So to start off, let's go ahead. I know there was a lot of setup, a lot of detail and all that. I know it was a little over in 6 minutes and 15 seconds to this point. But let's go ahead and start showing off some books. I'm going to go in just random order. So this is what I ended up getting done by Dan Slott. Let's start here. All right, so I already had one of these signed, but I didn't have, if I recall, is this second print or something? No, just a cover A. But I had two, so I wanted to get this one done signed by Mr. Dan Slott. So there's that one. I want to go ahead and get a Scotty Young. My goal is to get a bunch of Scotty Young books signed by the writers. And then eventually when I see Scotty, go ahead and get him signed these. I am looking for double six, trip six on stuff. That's kind of my new push right now. And especially with the Scotty Young stuff, I want to get that stuff double signed by as many people, you get it. So there's my Spider-Man issue number 1, Scotty Young variant, signed by Dan Slott. Here's my issue number 11, which has Spider-Boy in his full garb with Spider-Man on the front cover. All right, here's the first appearance, full appearance of Spider-Girl on the cover and all that. Cool thing is Anne in full costume. This is also a Michael Cho variant. So you'll notice right here, that is his signature. And then down below, that's Dan Slott's. So I had two of those. And then this is also a Cho variant. So this is also double signed. So I did get a few of these. And yeah, that's what I ended up getting done by Dan Slott and mostly done by Michael Cho. I do have a couple more Cho books. And I'll start with these now. I end up seeing Michael just as he was about to depart from his table. I was the last person showing up. He was just leaving, as I made mention, to go ahead and do a panel. I luckily caught him prior in which he was departing and going somewhere totally in a complete another direction for his signing, in which that I didn't necessarily want to trace him down because it fell within my timeline parameters to go ahead and try to meet him when I did. Luckily, I did. Got those books signed by him, and this is also a Michael Cho variant cover, which is the first issue of Radiant Black, cover A. And now I have that double sign, which you'll see Kyle Higgins is down there in the bottom. Kyle Higgins is there in the center. And then you'll see Cho right up on top. And now you'll end up seeing Cho right up on top. Just saying. So I will, and if I could, take a moment and say, howdy. Appreciate you being here, Christina, and dancing with me. Hope you're doing well. And oh yeah, easy on the dancing. Might be twisting too much on the knees. No twisting. All right. So from there, and as I made mention, I'm just kind of hopping around. Michael Cho was the fourth person I ended up getting stuff signed with Kai and I. And then Dan Slott was the fifth person I ended up getting stuff signed. He was randomly, as I stated, at a different place. So I end up saving about 2 hours of having to work within that timeline and just getting stuff signed at a different location before he also had to go to a panel. What I ended up doing, as I said, my first goal was to get stuff signed by Trad Moore. I haven't seen him in a couple years. Last time I saw him, I felt that I may have broke him. Luckily, I didn't. And what I mean by that is I end up telling him after he wrote Doctor Strange that I enjoy his stuff so much that I would appreciate if he would continue writing stuff. He says what he does right as opposed to just doing the art. He likes to kind of lock himself in a location far away from the hustle and bustle of things, which means he kind of has to disconnect. I was like, oh, wow. Well, when he told me that, like I said, that was almost 2 years ago. So I thought I broke him. When I ended up seeing him, he not only greeted me with a warm smile along with Kai, but he recalled and remembered me along with his handler and along with the handler at San Diego Comic-Con, in which that I've only was there once, as I made mention. I guess I make an impression in which that is memorable. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's stated. They did greet me warm. They welcomed me greatly, and I only take that as a positive. So I'll leave it as such. So that stated, I end up, as I said, getting a few books signed by Trad, if I recall, 9 in totality, and these are them. Starting off, I definitely wanted to get these 2 books signed. Bam. These are the 1 in 25s for the Hulk run. Issue number 3. As I said, it's the 1 in 25 ratio variant. I had Trad sign that. You can see his very unique signature. And then brand new book, Death of Silver Surfer. This is one of his most recent works right now. And that's just a ratio variant. Thank you. I appreciate that. This is also, I am a Ghost Rider fan. This is a new Ghost Rider when it came out at the time. If I recall, 2014. That's stated. Felipe Smith, he is actually in this vicinity of area. I just got to go ahead and try to make our 2 paths cross. It's yet to happen in the past like 10 years. I don't know what's going on. He's there, I'm here, and it's so weird. So at one point, it's definitely going to happen, but I wanted Trad to sign, you see right below the Ghost Rider, my issue number 1, my second print of issue number 2, which I really love that cover. 3, it's just pretty wicked. 4, gotta love the action stuff. And 5, the cross signature. The side of the crotch. So I'm looking forward to not only seeing Felipe and have him sign this, but yeah, I am looking forward to having conversations with them. And I would love to be able to, I don't know, put a little bug in his ear and say, hey, reach out to Trad. What's the worst that could happen? But you end up writing a story together again. Another successful, awesome one. And then I had him do this Amazing Spider-Man Legacy issue 850, which was a 49 issue. He ended up doing, if I recall, some interior stuff on here. Because I don't think it's the cover he did. And I'm hoping down the road I can end up getting maybe Spencer. And Otley was at the San Diego Comic-Con, but that was like a slam fest, man. To get in that line was crazy. I do hopefully run into Rainbows every time I do. That is not only also a long line, but it tends to be kind of costly. And I really don't have the budget for it right now. So I ended up getting those from Trad. Trad, thank you so much. I appreciate that. Now from there, Kai and I definitely wanted to go see Richard do it. And I had an interview with him, meaning I interviewed him along with on Rod the Rican's channel. So it was his interview. I was just assisting. If I recall, along with Greg, Bearded Comic Bro, and Dylan of Dylan's Comics. I think it might be Dylan's Movies now. My point is we were all doing a interview with him about the Sea of Sorrows. It was something that I was not only reading but thoroughly enjoying at the time. I really like his approach in storytelling. It's dark, and it really envelops you, the darkness in the sense of the storytelling and in the portrayal of the stories themselves. I was also reminding him of who I was because I ended up giving him such a lengthy question that his answer reply to that question was, "What the fuck did you just ask me, dude?" I'll never forget that, and it was fun to remind him. And Rich is such a cool guy; he really is. Now I got up to the panel or up to the area in which that he was going to sign, and that was the turnover time where Tom King and a bunch of other people were going to be. So they kicked all those people out. Carino Betchko, Rich, and I'm trying to remember who else was there. And I was thoroughly disappointed because that was my only opportunity to see him. And it's been, years since I keep another one of those individuals missing, unfortunately. However, once he was done, he walked off the panel. I kind of chased him down. I'm this person. This is what transpired. I just want to say hi, want to introduce myself. And he's like, well, do you have your stuff with you? I said, yeah. He's like, well, I don't. I go, I got pens. So right there on the floor at San Diego Comic-Con, he got down on his knees and signed my book. So to you, Rich Douek, thank you so much. Seriously, I cannot thank you enough. And dude, I kept asking you, could you please stand up? The fact that the gesture that you did and the fact that you just, pulled me to the side and around the corner so you can sign my books, I greatly appreciate. And the fact that the conversations in which that we had will not only go down in my memory, but my son was there, and it just created something that both he and I will enjoy for many of the year come. So what I had him sign was, I don't need to not show these yet. Let's get this was something he really enjoyed, the fact that I ended up getting too. As I made mention, Sea of Sorrows. So you're probably going, where's the signature? See that? Kind of blendy like, huh? Trippy. Every pen I gave him, it seemed like the signature was just disappearing. It was freakish. So that, as you see it right there up on the opposite corner of my finger here. So right. We tried 4 different pens. Seriously. I mean, they're all good. The black came out pretty good. I let him keep the pen. He was so kind to be able to sign my stuff. I had to be able to give him something. I mean, so yeah, right down there in the bottom. Yeah, she. Really love the story. I'm still yet to meet Mr. Birch. Yeah, I got to get. I have a lot of books for him to sign. The cool thing is Richard hadn't seen these books in so long, especially the retail incentives, because again, not many people get independence ratio variance. So he said it's been well over, many a year since he's seen these things. And these are all the RIs. So he not only was glad to sign them for me, but he was just admiring them for a little while. I'm like, you all right? He's like, yeah, I just haven't seen these covers in so long. So also he was a contributor, as you see right there, to all the names. You see Andrews, Quinns, Reber, Douek right there. So he ended up making a part of this Boogeyman thing. So I had him sign it. Where did he sign it? I don't remember where. No, sir. I'm telling you. Up, right there. Bam. And then he was glad that I had this cover. He's like, oh, dude, you got the cover. I go, yeah. He freaked out on me. I got a little nervous. I really think that something might happen with this character in about a year or two. We'll see what happens. He's going to be writing. Something's going to happen in October. So he told me. And then up there on top of this second print, I had to get this homage. Look at that. Isn't that cool? So thank you, Rich. I appreciate you. I appreciate the fact that you took all that time, the effort, just everything. You jumped on your knees and signed my books. Thank you. All right. So let's go Phillips. All right. And to make the story coherent. All right. So Kai and I, we were over in right before we got stuff signed by Michael Cho. We were over in the Stephanie Phillips area. Her handler was there. I was talking to her. Very nice individual. She had a concern on her face, and I said, "Is everything okay?" She then replied that Stephanie was on her way, and I said, "Okay, but are you all right?" She said, "Well, I'm fine, but Stephanie's having an issue." I said, "Okay, what's wrong with Steph? Can we assist in any way?" She laughed. I said, "What's funny?" She said, "She's lost." I said, "Inside or outside?" She said, "Inside." I said, "Upstairs or downstairs?" She said, "Downstairs, but at the other end of the hall." She thought she was on the other side. I'm like, "Oh, that's no big deal." She goes, "Yeah, but she's every time she says she's on her way, it seems like she's not that much farther down the way." So we waited, and it was just, to me, kind of funny. She kind of got there in a panic and slightly in a rush. I did not want to be that first person to get stuff signed, so I let a couple people go in front of me. Kai and I then got our stuff to ready. We're talking, and we gave her a moment, asked, as I always do, if I may take a picture, both with Kai and I and with her, with her. You understand what I'm getting at. And she was not only very receptive to that, but she's a really cool individual and very down to earth. I had a good time, in brief time, speaking with her, because once I left from there, I ended up, as I stated, going from Cho to her, if I recall. Yeah, from Cho to her, from her to Dan. And I only saw Dan over in the corner. That's why I wanted to get to him, so I didn't have to go and wait another 2 hours. So all of a sudden, 3 hours worth of signings were now happening within an hour. So I got a little, I wanted to mellow out, and I didn't want to make her feel rushed. So I knew I had plenty of time. Since Michael was done, she could easily do it, and Dan was right there. So I laid my books out, and she quickly started, talking and signing these books. It wasn't until that she got about 2/3 through the books that she stopped and went, "Wait a minute, these are Grimm #1s." I said, "Well, yeah." I'm thinking to myself, I only brought like a third of them. You would not believe how much of this Grimm stuff I. She's like, "Oh, I charge double for signatures on those." Okay. Here's a card. So I ended up getting a few, like I said, only around a third of my Grimms. I didn't get anything graded. I just wanted to do raws. Again, a big part of it was just hanging out with Kai, having some memories, getting some signatures, meeting some people that I've never met before, and enjoying the moments with Kai. So that kind of took me back a little bit. And Kai even looked at me like, "Dude, you all right?" I'm like, yeah, I know, we're good. So these are the books that we got signed. Issue #1, cover A. Now, I think this is a 1 in 25. Precisely. And then there's another foily, just cute thing. I have a sign right there. And then I really like this. I think this might be a Frisney thing. Anyways, really love this one too. I like where she signed it. Where she signed it is really cool. Foil version of that. I think also this is a some type of ratio incentive thing. I think that's why she's been charging double. One is, I think that on the secondary market, people are actually starting to sell these things and get money. You also notice another signature there. That is Jay Lee. I had Jay Lee sign these things at Golden Apple way back in 2022. So I definitely wanted her to sign these. And this is what caught her eye when she saw these ratio variants. She's like, I charge more for those. Also, I end up meeting, if I recall, 7 individuals. And in the meeting of those 7 individuals, I was asked by 6 of those 7 individuals if I work or am affiliated with CGC. That really took me back. I've never had really anybody ask, let alone 6 out of the 7 people I was having signing my stuff ask if I was with CGC. I think it might have been the way I was carrying my stuff or how I had to present my things, but that blew my mind. I said, no, I'm not getting anything graded, or am I a grader or work or affiliated? But yeah, that cracked me up. So I had her sign it there. This is the 1-for-store ratio. It's a polybag thing. So yes, I cracked this puppy open and had her sign it. And then I had her sign the second print of issue number 1 of the last series of Spider-Gwen. And then I had her sign the cover A of the last issue of the last volume of Spider-Gwen before it enters a new one. And also the reason why is not only to get the first and the last, but also in the case of this last issue is a new costume for her that she'll be, I believe, darning in the next volume. So, yeah, you know. So, yes, again, as a big thank you, I appreciate you, Stephanie Phillips, for not only taking the time, but giving Kai and I not only more memories, but something that I need to start, more education. I need to start asking and be a little more upfront with exactly costs and things when they're not necessarily advertised or when things change because of certain circumstance. So, yeah, cool stuff. Just saying. All right, and lastly, right? Yes. All right. Erica Schultz is another individual in which that I've been reading her stuff for quite some time. Also, she's also a writer for not only Marvel, but in the case of recent, Image. And she's the one that has been writing the Rat City for the Spawn stuff. So in the Spawn universe, she is writing Rat City and is part of the contribution to the overall Spawn universe in the sense of it's part of the grounding of it, meaning, you know, you're on Earth, you're present day, you know what I mean? However, that stated, and that's where she was doing her signing event, was at the Image thing. I did not have one Image book sign. I was more interested in some of the other stuff, which is I like what she did with this whole Black Widow Venomous thing. And I love this Chew cover. So that's what I had her sign. And she has a very unique signature. Another example. I am a massive Hallows Eve fan. Ever since the birth of Hallows Eve and other pages of, yes, Spider-Man, and with Celeste Rothman doing the major contribution to this character, I really enjoy this character. So this was, you'll see Erica's signature right there. This was her contribution to the overall storyline. See it down there. Look at that. Is that a cover? That is a cover. And I may mention, I'm trying to get these Scotty Young things. This is another one I love to have Scotty sign. This is a cool cover. I mean, the only way I can really describe it is it's gruesomely cute. All right, moving on from that one. Blood Hunter. So I really like the Blood Hunter series. I like the characters in which that were put together to go ahead and do the tasks that they had in the series that they were bringing out. This was between Blood Hunt. This was there was another Blood Hunter series, or this was the original one. I don't know, that led up to this stuff, and it gave the overall structure. It basically gave us what we now know as the overall Blood Hunt storyline. I guess you could almost say, you know, it was an event. Definitely was an event. And this was a major part of that event. So I wanted to go ahead and get as many signatures as I could, starting off with issue number 1 on Blood Hunters. Yes, this is the one that did start all off. Had her sign there. And then we got into the series stuff that was part of the whole Blood Hunt series with a bunch of contributors to it. So on this, I had Mark Russell signed this thing back on 8/17/2024, along with Bob Quinn at Collector's Paradise. Then Bernard Chang signed this in 2019. And then I had Erica Schultz sign this thing at the San Diego Comic-Con. So there is 4 signatures on this, with Bernard on top, Russell in the silver there, Bernard Chang on the bottom, actually. And then this one is Bob Quinn. And then the bottom is, or that Schultz right there. Yeah, I'm filling them up. It gets a little confusing. All right, there we are. So you can see where Schultz is. She has the starting to get to know her signature. This is Blood Hut issue number 2. Bernard Chang and Erica worked on that one together. And then it's issue 3. I need to get his Trujillo to go ahead and sign this. He's another individual that's around here, but I had Bernard Chang and Erica sign that. And then here's another, again, part of the whole Hallows Eve too. I love her is just the character is really cool. So that's Bernard up top. That's her down below. And we circled back. So that was everything I ended up getting signed. You're like, well, how many books was that? Well, that was 30 minutes and 48 books. As I made mention, I did buy one item there. It was an item that was the Speed Racer San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. And along with that, they gave you a neat little bandana that I put in a bag. Hey, I'm Tim. I appreciate you being here, buddy. Hey, Air Spider. However, that stated, once Michael Choi signed the book, I have no idea where it went. So I bought the book from the Mad Cave Studios booth with David Papos there, had it, sign it. We just, again, went through all the memories of both Kai, myself, and Dave for all the past years that we've known each other. I got the book there. He told me, Michael's over there, have him sign it, tell him I sent you. So I did. I had him sign that along with a few other books. I prepare, window all my stuff. And being that I bought that thing there, I didn't have an extra window board, you know, so I put all these things back in my stored folios. I don't know what happened. The only thing I bought from San Diego Comic-Con and I lost. That stated, I mean, the cool thing is I gained a lot. I gained the memories. I got a neat little pass, you know. Oh, let's not show that. Kai got some cool memories. He got a neat little pen. I gave him the opportunity to go ahead and make purchases of a few items there, and he kept passing it up. We were definitely suffering from a little bit of information overload. I mean, it's a lot, you know, the lights, the sounds, the people, the constant swivel heading of cosplayers, you know, you're looking at, and, you know, the 14-foot, what was that, Galactus I was walking around, and I mean, this is crazy. It's hard to intake everything and then stay on target. So unfortunately, things do happen, but again, as a whole, it was a success. He and I had a good time. We got there in good time. We left in good time. We had good conversations. We ended up having a decent meal. I ended up showing my route when I first discovered this beach that I go to go surfing when I was a kid, his age. I showed him where it's at, how to get there. And I even took him to this little Carl's Jr. that's right there on the way back from that surf spot that we always hit traditionally, that me and my friends for the past in 40 years. Oh my God, have been going to. And yeah, you know, so all that, it really added up to, it was hard, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do feel a little bummed out at times when I really overthink about it. But for all I know, someone that was quite deserving more than me got that book. I really hope that someone that treasures, you know, that storyline, that nostalgia of that, and is a true fan of Dave and Mike and really want that book. I my only hope is that it just didn't end up in the trash while they were cleaning up. That would suck. That's dated. Not focusing on that. I want to go ahead and thank all of you that cruise on through and made this real for me. I want to take a moment and go ahead and make that acknowledgement of, yes, Christina, I appreciate you. Appreciate you, buddy. Seriously. Oh, it's your friend Jeff. I didn't know that. Well, Jeff, I appreciate you cruising on through and taking a moment and hanging out with me. Air Spider, as always, take a dab. I'm going to do that right now. And I hope you have a wonderful day. Just kidding, buddy. Just kidding. I think it's everybody pair. Thanks for cruising on through. I appreciate you and anyone and everyone that cruises on in. Marvel swimsuit covers need to find those. Oh. All right, we'll see what we can do. Just saying. And yeah, hey, thank you. I appreciate you. That was all 48 books, multiple signatures, all kinds of storyline that went with it. If you missed anything, catch it on the rewind. I appreciate you. And that's it for me. Entropy. You guys stay well. Until next time. Bye.